Hi guys, welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making drinks and foods from the movie and book series Harry Potter.
Turn to page 394.
So today we're going to be kicking off this video with a drink called Butterbeer. It's something that you see in the movies and read in the books pretty frequently that the wizards and witches enjoy. So let's get started with that. So the Butterbeer recipe that I found consists of cream soda. It also has butterscotch schnapps. Wow, I'm not even drinking this yet, and I already can't pronounce this, but butterscotch schnapps, whipped cream topping, and butter extract. So the first thing the recipe says to do is 1 cup of cream soda. Pour that in there. Try not to spill any. Okay, next it calls for an entire 1/4 cup of butterscotch schnapps. Pour all that in there too. It's gonna be strong. Okay, and then it says to put in a 1/4 teaspoon of butter extract. And top it with some whipped cream. It looks so good. That butterscotch schnapps smells so strong. So we'll see how this tastes. Oh my gosh. That doesn't even taste like there's any alcohol in there. That's going to be so dangerous. And I'm gonna enjoy my butterbeer while I make the rest of the things for this video. So today this is just gonna be part 1. There's gonna be 2 videos to this Harry Potter series, I guess you could say. Today's video we are going to be making Petunia's pudding, which is going to be my own interpretation of the cake. In the movie, they actually have it as an actual cake. So we're gonna do a pound cake layers. We're gonna fill that with a pastry cream, and then we're also going to make a strawberry compote, put that in the filling as well, layer them up, and then decorate it the same way that she had it in the movie. So it's going to be so beautiful. I'm super excited. We're also going to be including a treacle tart. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's something that seems to be pretty popular overseas. I haven't seen anything like that in the United States. So we're gonna make that today as well. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be making is Aunt Petunia's pudding. So we're going to start off by making our layers of pound cake. So the first thing we're going to do is grab our wands, and we're gonna measure out 1½ cups of flour, or 180 grams. And then we are going to measure out 1 teaspoon of salt. And then we're also going to measure out a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. We're going to add all of that to our bowl. So 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and we're just gonna mix that all up. All right, and now that that is all mixed, we are going to be setting it to the side. Okay, so now that we have all of our dry ingredients mixed, we are going to cream our butter and sugar in our stand mixer. So we're going to grab our wands again, and we are going to measure out 1 cup or 2 sticks of butter. And then we're also going to measure out 1 cup or 200 grams of sugar. Okay, so now we're going to grab our butter and our sugar, and we're going to add them into our stand mixer. And we're going to cream that on a medium-high speed until they're nice and combined and the butter is light and fluffy. Alright, so now that our butter and sugar is creamed, we are going to crack 4 large eggs into a bowl. And then we're going to be measuring out 120 milliliters, or a 1/2 cup of sour cream. And now that we have both of those, we're going to be adding the sour cream to our bowl first. And we're going to mix that in. And now that our sour cream is all combined, we're going to be adding each egg 1 at a time. Now that those eggs are added, we're just going to scrape down the bowl and the paddle. Just make sure that everything is combined. And now that that's all scraped, we're going to be mixing it just a little bit longer to get that combined. Next step we're going to do is measure out 2 tablespoons of vanilla. And we're going to be adding that to our mixture as well. Now that we have our butter, sugar, sour cream, eggs, and vanilla all combined in our mixer, we're going to be grabbing those dry ingredients that we mixed earlier. And we're going to be adding them to our mixer. And we're going to mix this until it's just combined. Alright, so now that our batter is done, I'm going to get it off the mixer. So we're going to scrape this paddle off real good, make sure we get all the batter into our bowl. Now that we have all of our batter scraped off that paddle on the bowl, we're going to get this mixer out of the way. And we're going to get 2 9-inch cake pans lined with parchment paper and sprayed really heavily with Pam. And we're going to fill them up evenly with our batter. So I just like to do like 1 scoop at a time in each one to make it as even as possible. Okay, so now that we have our batter split evenly, we're going to spread that out nice and even as well with an offset spatula. Alright, so that looks good. I'm going to put them into my oven now that I preheated at 350 degrees. And I'm going to start them off at about 17 minutes, check on them, and go from there. Alright guys, we are back. Our cake is now out of the oven. I had it in there for about 20 minutes. It is now completely cooled and it is time for the fun part, decorating. So in the second movie, The Chamber of Secrets, is where we see this. Mrs. Dursley has it decorated with purples and greens, some cherries, so that's what we're gonna do today. We are going to get our wands and we are going to move our cake over so that we have some room to make some pastry cream. And I prepared this last night. To make the pastry cream, we're gonna need 2 large egg yolks and 1 large whole egg. To that, we're gonna add 1/4 cup or 30 grams cornstarch and also 1/3 cup or 67 grams of sugar. After you add your sugar, give it a good mix and set it aside. Now place a pot on your stove and add 2 cups or 480 milliliters whole milk. And to that, we'll add 1/4 cup or 50 grams of sugar. Give that a good stir and bring the milk to a simmer over medium heat. Make sure to stir frequently so the bottom of the pan doesn't burn. Once it begins to simmer, temper half of the milk into the egg mixture, stirring quickly so not to cook the eggs. Now return the mixture to the stove and mix the egg mixture into it. Stir constantly so the eggs don't curdle. Once mixture is thick, add 2 tablespoons of butter and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then we are also going to be getting some strawberry compote, which I also prepared last night. Start by cutting up 1 pound of strawberries. Add them to a medium-sized pan on your stovetop. To that we're going to add 1/4 cup or 50 grams sugar, 2 tablespoons lemon juice, and 1/4 cup or 60 milliliters water. Give it a good stir and bring it to a boil over medium heat until it reduces by half. And then we're also going to be grabbing some whipped cream. We're going to have it colored purple, and then I also have some colored green. And then I also have a couple bags that I did white. And we're going to get started. So first thing we're going to do is create a dam around the edge of the cake, which really is just stopping the filling from spilling out to the sides of the cake when we add it. So we're going to take our whipped cream in a start tip piping bag and just go around the edges to block anywhere this filling might pour out. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to add our pastry cream to the center. And we're just going to do that about 1/4 of the way up on the whipped cream. Alright, so now that we have that all smoothed out, we're going to grab our strawberry compote and add that on top of the pastry cream. Alright, so we have that in there. Now we're going to take the top layer of the cake, and I like to put the top side down, the sticky side down, and set that right on top. And we're going to do the same thing on the top with the whipped cream. And this time, since it's just the top, we don't have to worry about it spilling out as much. We could put even more pastry cream. So this time we could fill it up a little bit above halfway on that whipped cream there. And now we can add the rest of the compote. So now we can do the fun part where we add all the greens and purples. So I'm just going to start around the edges where the cake is showing to cover it all up. You don't want to leave any cake out because it can get kind of dry when exposed to air. So we're going to cover it all up with the whipped cream. And then we're gonna do the same thing with the purple. So now we have the purple and green on there. I'm just going to take the rest of our white whipped cream, add some dollops to the top where we're gonna be placing the cherries. Let's take our wand and get some cherries. Okay, so we have our cherries here. I like to use the ones with stems. I just think they're so much prettier. And we're just gonna go around the top of the cake and add those. And I'm gonna do some on the bottom too. And just have fun with it. This is kind of our own interpretation. It is just a book series. I mean, they do kind of show it in the movie, but everyone's idea is just a little bit different. But I think I like the way that turned out. That you guys see too. Not usually my particular color choice, putting purple and green together, but that is the way that she had it in the movie, and I would like to at least stay true to some parts of it, but I think this is going to taste really, really good. But we won't dive into this until I have the treacle tart done. We're going to put this in the fridge to chill and get started on that tart. Okay guys, so now that Petunia's pudding is all done, we can start on the treacle tart. They say that it is Harry Potter's favorite dessert, so I'm a little bit excited to make that. I'm a little nervous as well because I've never made something like this before. I've never tasted something like this before, but that also makes it really exciting. I did read that it is similar to like the filling in a pecan pie, and then the crust is just like a basic pie crust, so that should be interesting. It does call for golden syrup that is only available, it seems to be in Europe. I've looked all over here at the grocery stores around me. I could not find it anywhere. And any of them that I tried to order either was going to take a really long time or was so expensive. So I did some research, and a lot of the recipes said that you can substitute molasses for that syrup. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to start off with making the crust, then we're going to make the filling and let it bake. So without further ado, let's get started. We're going to start by taking 2 cups or 240 grams of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 2/3 cup or 150 grams cold butter, and put them in a food processor. We're going to pulse it until it comes together. Then we're going to add 5 to 6 tablespoons ice cold water and pulse it until a dough forms. We're going to form the dough into 2 balls and put them into fridge for 30 minutes. Alright, so now that our crust is made, I'm going to get 3 tart pans, and then I'm going to get a rolling pin, and then we're also going to need some flour for dusting the table. So we're going to start off by rolling out our pie dough, and then we will put it into our pans, which I already sprayed lightly with some nonstick cooking spray. If you don't have these pans, I ordered them off of Amazon. They weren't too expensive. I can link those down below. And we are going to just put this pie crust in here, and then once the pie crust is in, we're going to make our filling, pour that in there, and then put it in the oven. So I'm going to get those out of the way. Get our pie crust here, and I'm just going to lightly dust the surface of our table. Now I'm going to get one of our pie doughs, and I'm just going to put a little bit of flour on top of the dough too, so it doesn't stick to the rolling pin as I'm rolling it. And we're just going to press out from the center out. That way it rolls out nice and evenly. And as I'm rolling it, I'm just going to move it around to make sure that it's not sticking to the table. You could easily do this with a store-bought pie crust as well, but I just think it'll taste a lot better using a homemade crust, especially with all that butter in it. You don't want it to be too thin, but you don't want it to be too thick either. I think it's about good now. So it's about like 1/4 of an inch thick. So what we're going to do is cut some pieces. So I'm just going to cut this right in half. And I just want to dust some of that flour off. Got my pan here. We're just going to gently set that in there. And it's okay if it doesn't fit perfectly. Like this side here is a little bit not covered by the crust, but we'll just pinch some more crust in there. It's not a problem. So you just want to lightly tap your crust into there. We're going to gather some more crust from this side here, wiping off some extra flour, and just pinch it down. All right, and so now we're just going to press on the top of this tart pan to crimp off the extra edges of pie dough. And then I'm just going to take a knife and prick the bottom. That way it doesn't like puff up at all while baking. Now I'm just going to repeat these steps for the other 2 tart pans. Okay, so now that all of those pie crusts are ready, I'm going to clean up my mess and get started on that filling. Alright, so now that our mess is all cleaned up, we can start on the filling for our treacle tart. So we're going to get a nice clean bowl. And then we're also going to grab 1 cup or 250 milliliters of molasses. We're also going to grab a 1/4 cup or 60 milliliters of heavy cream. And we're going to add both of those to our bowl. Alright, so we're also going to grab 1 egg. And then we're also going to grab 2 tablespoons of melted butter. And add both of those to our mixture. And then after that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice and then all of the zest from that lemon. And the last thing we're going to grab is 1 cup or 60 grams of breadcrumbs. We're just going to add that to our bowl. And then all we're going to do is mix up all of those ingredients. So now that all of that is mixed, we're going to bring back our tart pans. And we're going to fill them up to just below the top with our filling. Okay, that looks good to me. So I'm going to go put these into our preheated oven, which is set at 375 degrees. And we're going to bake these for about 20 minutes. Our treacle tarts are now out of the oven. I actually ended up leaving them in there for about 24 minutes instead of the 20. I was just waiting for that crust to get a little bit more of a golden color. They have firmed up quite a bit. So I'm actually gonna go grab AJ now and we can make him try all the treats that we made today and figure out his opinions on them. So I'm going to go grab him and we will taste these yummy desserts. Alright, so it's the moment of truth now. We have to remove the tart from the pan.
Oh God.
That's why these are so nice, because the bottoms actually separate from the sides. They came out nice.
That was good.
Look how pretty. Nice little tart. Gonna drop it.
I would not be surprised.
So it smells like really Christmassy, and I feel like that's probably because the molasses is making me think of gingerbread cookies. I'm sure the original version isn't like that because you would use the golden syrup instead of molasses, so maybe eventually I can get my hands on the actual syrup. But this is real weird.
It doesn't.
It kind of looks like a hamburger patty. But it smells like gingerbread cookies. You can try it first.
Why do I have to try it first? I don't trust it.
It looks weird. It looks so
That doesn't even smell good.
See, I smell like all I smell is gingerbread cookies. But like I just look at it. I'm really excited to try it now. It's so good.
Oh my God. This is so bad.
My eyes are watering. I hate it.
Oh, what is that?
Gross. So, sorry Harry Potter, but your favorite dessert is really gross. And I don't want to eat anymore. My eyes are literally watering.
Get it off my plate. I don't want it.
Okay. I'm like trying to swallow this so I can keep talking.
Oh, what does that taste?
Okay, I just got whipped cream on my forehead. Well, this is good. Okay, it's gonna be good. This is pound cake, pastry cream, strawberry compote, and whipped cream, which is all things that you like. Oh, I have the taste of this in my mouth, and I'm like...
I kept smelling something, and I was thinking it was just like something in the kitchen somewhere. And then I realized when I went to go eat it that it was that.
You know what it tastes like?
Not good.
Like weird raisins.
Yeah, like melted raisins with
but
a
there's
strange chemical added.
But there's no raisins in it.
It smells and tastes of raisins.
I can't get this out. I'm so like distracted.
God, hurry up. I don't want to have this taste in my mouth. Okay, yeah, look, here's the cake. Looks great, doesn't it? Okay, now I'm eating it.
See, I feel like no, even if this was gross, it would just taste so much better than what you just ate. Is it good? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't know. That was my first bite, and that taste of that is still lingering.
I just have food all over my hands now. No.
I can
That's really
smell
good.
it. I can smell it. I almost just launched it across the kitchen, but I would have had to clean it up.
Just straight eat it.
I wanted to. It was one of the most foul things I've ever tasted.
This is really good.
This is amazing.
This is like strawberry shortcake on steroids. Thank God that we started with the tart first, so we could finish with the cake. Like, I feel like that just assaulted my taste bud, and then like the cake just came to the rescue.
I wish I knew the spell to make that disappear and never come back.
You ready? I got one. All right. It's gone.
You're cleaning that up.
It's gone. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, on that note, cake, really good. If you want to try to make the treacle tart with not molasses and see if maybe it's okay,
Don't do it.
by all means, go right ahead. We all know what our feelings are about it with molasses, but please try it. So, yeah. I'm going to link all of the recipes down in the description box below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you try the recipes or have any insight, leave a comment. Comment what your house is too. I'm a Slytherin. AJ's a Gryffindor. And definitely try this cake. Hit the subscribe. Hit the subscribe button if you want to be notified for when I upload part 2. We'll be making cauldron cakes and pumpkin pasties or pasties. I still haven't figured out how to say it. So yeah, hit the subscribe button. Have a great day. Bye.